Hey everybody, welcome. We made it. We made it to not only Friday, but the first Friday where we can draft ranked. Best of one Theros Beyond Death. Best of one Theros Beyond Death draft is here, and we're going to jump into that today. I asked chat and we wanted to start fresh. We have a couple of lingering drafts that I may try and finish up some other time on the air and add to the YouTube content, but we're going to start fresh today. Brand new draft. Excited to have best of one, especially because Theros has seemed like a grindy format so far, and best of three has been taking quite a while, so I'm looking forward to just having one game at a time against a given deck and trying fresh opponents and hopefully having events that wrap up a little sooner and maybe I can get off air before 2 hours past my usual stop time, right? So I did want to call out, though, that do you remember when Eldraine started and we were all about how grindy and control-y it was, and Luis and Marshall were like, this is just all about stalling and drawing cards and going long, etc. And then Luis and Marshall were like, hey, let's maybe, but let's try aggro. Let's see if we can make aggro work, right? And then they spend a week forcing aggro, and they come back and be like, oh, actually, this format is aggro, right? Oh, it turns out this, like, and on Arena especially, it's weird because whatever strategies the bots are undervaluing kind of becomes the meta, because you're discarding 7/8 of the decks drafted, and the 1/8 being kept is the stuff the humans value. And so as the humans value things differently from the bots, the Arena meta starts to look like whatever is being undervalued. So it's more understandable that the Arena meta shifted pretty heavily because of that factor. But it's also pretty clear that the paper game in Eldraine shifted pretty heavily. That from the general consensus, from conventional wisdom on where Eldraine was at to where it ended up by the end of the format, even in all human paper drafts, shifted pretty radically. And so I just want to call out that we really don't even know where this format is at yet. We might just not. We might not have the right bot positioning to understand how aggro functions in this format. Or maybe we haven't learned, we haven't figured out the pieces. Like, anyway, I'm just saying, as grindy as I think this format is, it also wouldn't completely surprise me if in a month or whatever we flipped our opinion and we understand how to draft aggro, what aggro works, and then the bots change, and then bam, suddenly we're in late Eldraine Arena where we're like, oh my gosh, this is one of the more aggro formats since triple Zendikar or whatever, right? So if you want to go aggro towards building your collection, you should check out cardkingdom.com. They have a seemingly infinite supply of magical cards there. Everything that I ever look for seems to be there. The handful of times I go there and they don't have the card I'm looking for, I'm like, whoa, what is this card? Like, did it disappear off the face of the earth? How does Card Kingdom not have this card? And then usually when I come back, like 3 days later, they have it or whatever. So that's the other thing I love about Card Kingdom. The handful of times they don't have the inventory you're looking for, they're out there hunting for it and they're looking to build it up. They want to have like 4 of everything at all times so that anybody can just show up and completely build an entire deck in their website and get it and go. You could do a starter cube. One of the things managing magic cards is a huge pain in the butt. And one of the interesting challenges I've been thinking of taking on, and maybe it's a project we could do together on stream even, is do the 25-cent cube Card Kingdom cube, which is to say we go through and we get 360 25-cent cards from Card Kingdom, and basically that sends us a cheap, don't even have to sleeve it, like imagine an unsleeved cube of bulk stuff. Because let's face it, there are bulk cards out there that are still tons of fun to play and totally cube worthy. It would be really fun to build a 360 card small cube out of nothing but Card Kingdom quarter cards. And then the best part about it is they do the hardest part of that job, which is to pluck each small tiny card, put them together, and like actually build it. That's like one of the amazing, the underrated feature. I'll tell you this. I have bought cards from Card Kingdom that I knew I had in my collection somewhere just because I didn't want to go find it. And it was only a quarter. It's like, for a quarter, I just want to have the card in my order when I pick it up with those other cards that I know I don't have. So anyway, I admit that I have bought cards from Card Kingdom not because I didn't own them, but because it felt like a better value to have them pluck it out of their collection than for me to pluck it out of mine. So anyway, I appreciate Card Kingdom for all their support, of course. And please remember that if you ever do go shop at Card Kingdom, to do so from my affiliate link. And then you let them know you got there from here, and it lets them know that their marketing ploy is working. Okay, let's go. Also, we're in gold time. We have four gold drafts all queued up already, and so we're going to only push this gem number up for the next 4 drafts on this account. Oh boy. Should we? Maybe? Man, if there was a card to just take and force, it's this one. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Do you see what's peeking out there? You see what's peeking out there? Boom. I mean, it's going to be very hard for the bots to draft in a way that takes me off of Dream Trawler. This is one of the more kind of you win cards they've printed in a while for limited. Like, this is so hard to beat. Although, who was it? Was it Mensch? That was talking about how they had a Dream Trawler and they lost 0-2 with it to an opponent who blinked the Fishify onto it twice. Ouch. Ouch. Anyway, we're going to take the Dream Trawler quite easily and work quite hard to play it. So we're looking for best blue and white cards, basically. Like, we could even take Eutropia and maybe do some splashing, but the color here is so intensive that I really just want to try and focus in on the best rare in the set. And yeah, I think Thirst for Meaning, this is where I really like Thirst for Meaning a lot, even if we're not specifically an enchantment deck, because what we are trying to do is dig for this, right? And so also, you know, I've been trying to massage my take on this card as I understand its nuances a little more, and I did want to call out that one of the great benefits of a draw 3, even discard 2, is that if you have an unbeatable card, you just want to find it. Oh, thanks. I'll do that right now, Mama. Or reset it? What's wrong? I have it on. But I'll reset it since I'll restart. So often that fixes it. So yeah, let's work towards Trawler with most of our picks here. To that end, I guess we just take a Witness. We're starting out pretty expensive here with Trawler and Witness, but that's okay. This is a great card. I like it better than Hero of the Winds. Although this does do some defense. You know, the other thing, like being a little more defensive early is good when you're trying to just find an unbeatable bomb. But yes, we'll take... Yeah, Chariot might be better in in a more generic set. I think in any situation where a very specific type of non-creature spell is the theme of the set, in this case, enchantments, it becomes very hard to find space for things that aren't creatures or the synergy thing, right? Celebrant is great, but not really where we're at. We want to support here. We could take a Revoke for some early interaction on the removal front, obviously for enchantment creatures, or we could just take Leonin to fill out, quote, our removal by having a 3-power 2-drop that can trade. We're definitely going to wheel the Sentry, yeah. Dismissal is a reasonable pick as well. I think I would rather just have destroy an enchantment over bounce a thing, but it does buy us some time, and card advantage isn't a huge issue if what we're trying to do is just make it to something that, again, completely wins. I think I'm going to take we probably wheel this, though. This seems to wheel. I'm going to take Revoke and try and wheel the Lost Pride, and if we don't wheel the Lost Pride, we'll wheel the Sentry, I think, for sure. Here's Pilgrim and Flicker. This is the card that somebody used to defeat one of our viewers' trawlers with the Fishify. But we're going to take Pilgrim, and This is just a nice effect if we can find some removal auras, that kind of thing. And nothing, yeah, nothing here beats the Pilgrim for me. All right, now the bots are trying to take us off our plan. I don't want to do it. I'm going to take Fateful End, though, because if we do end up with somehow with some great fixing, we could splash this, whereas we're never playing Sage of Mysteries, so I'm not going to take it. But I'm going to put Fateful End on the board under the presumption that we're not going to find a place for it. Although here's an amulet we could take. But I'd rather just take First Blessing. Again, I don't really want to splash here. This is tough enough already. You know, we are going to have spots where we have 5 planes and an island or whatever, and this in our hand. So, yeah, let's take Blessing and set up some earlier stuff that we can protect. Pious is an early thing, but I don't think we want to do that here. I think we ran this in we have a couple of these in our aggro Boros deck, but I don't think I want it unless I'm really trying to beat down. So we'll take Sunmane Pegasus instead. This is a fine pickup here, which is not to say that it's good, but it's to say that it's a 2-drop that if we had to take and play for curve filling purposes, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But with Mogus's favor, I'm trying to play as few whatever 1 toughness creatures as I can. I want them to be important when I play them. Although, you know, we're going to take another one here and see what happens. But ideally, I also hope we don't have to play Memory Drain, but we're going to do whatever it takes to support the Trawler. Here's the Sentry that came back. We did not get the 2-drop, but we'll take that. This might be playable. It ramps to the Trawler, helps cast the Trawler, and could support a splash. Take a look at the curve in a second. Well, should we take this too? I don't know. What do you think? Is this any good? It's 7 mana. Well, this is going to be embarrassing when I fail to when I fail to 7 win with this. I do want this Staggering Insight, but yeah, hello. Oh, this is interesting. Saw the Heliod's Punishment, thought, hey, maybe we could make that work, but maybe we just want another sweet card, this uncommon, that helps the stall by trading off with anything and then giving us another body. You like that better than the Punishment? What do you think? What helps us get to our primary win conditions? I have plural. Primary win conditions better. Heliod's Punishment or Enraptured? Let's pull this. And I'm going to go Punish for Punishment. Enraptured. And Other. I'm going to say Other just because there is... maybe you want the Final Death. Maybe you want to try splashing this. But I think it's one of these two. You think Enraptured wheels? I'm leaning Enraptured because of exactly what AVB just said. I like this a little more in aggro, where and I think we even have one of these in our Boros aggro deck that we haven't played yet. But aggro can close out a game before the punishment can be served, and in control, they're going to have time to actually make this thing go away. Now, maybe that gives you the time to find the Trawler, but, you know. Wow, nobody wants to punish. 100% on Enraptured. I thought maybe some people might like this, but everybody's on board with this not being a great control card, even though it might look like it. So, people are saying this frequently wheels. I'm not going to take that chance. Too good. Liar seems good, but we're also seeing why everybody's ending up in green-black around here. We've got another Final Death. Elspeth Nightmare is available, pick 3, and Acolyte of Fiction is available. Like, so, oh my. Black-green, very good in the bot system right now, but we got to take the Liar. You want Googly Eyes? This should wheel. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna time you out for suggesting some box art, but I might just use it to troll you and be sure to pick something else. Second Blessing or Second Pilgrim, I think is where we're at. But where we're at on auras, do we even have any auras we want to get yet? No auras we even want to get yet. We could also take Naiad. Dawn Evangel, I have not seen this played yet. I've not played it, or well, I guess maybe I played against it once. I mean, it's not unplayable simply as a 2/3 for 3, but I think the rules text is very hard to make happen. But yeah, I would rather have another. We'll hedge with another Pilgrim. I'm going to take the Pilgrim, and we're going to hope that we find some blue and white based enchantment and removal. Yeah, Haj, I agree with you. I don't think this is the place for it. We're going to take another Pilgrim, even though we don't have the tools yet. We're going to get there. Omen is really what we kind of want to be doing, but Apathy, I'm going to go ahead and take the Apathy over the Omen. Omen is great because it helps us find this stuff, but Apathy, I do want, you know, if we survive to remove stuff, we're going to be pretty happy. And we have 2 ways to find it now. Well, we're getting pretty packed at 3. I acknowledge that. So I would love myself some Omens, some blue Omens, but we're going to take Apathy here. Another Pilgrim. Can we take another Pilgrim, or should we just take a Turtle or Deny? We can add to our altar count and set up to be able to both cast this very reliably, perhaps earlier than 6, and splash. And also we're going for a 7-2. So this is a deck where I would play a couple of altars, but maybe we see if we can get another altar for less of a high pick later on in this draft. We're only mid-pack 2 here. Yeah, I think this is actually a spot for Turtle. A little crazy. Yankum doesn't like Turtle at all, but it's up for me. It's about jobs, Yankum, and Riptide Turtle does a job we're really looking for, which is to keep us alive until we just stone win the game with one of our absurd bombs. So I hear you. I've not historically liked 05 2-drop defenders in blue at all, but in this case, I think this is basically what we're looking for. And we have 1 revoke already, so I'm going to take the Turtle. You want to pull this? All right, we can pull it. But that's my thinking. So I think the answer here is either Turtle, revoke, but I'll offer the others of Deny, Pilgrim, and Altar. Basically, I'll offer any reasonable pick here and see what chat thinks. People are on the Turtle plan, maybe because of my soapboxing for it, but that's what I'm going to take for exactly the reasons I gave. Omen of the Sun, Stern Dismissal, or Lionfish. Now, I think we actually want the Lionfish, again, for curve reasons. That Omen is fine and does help with the job we're talking about, but Unicorn is more of an aggro card. We're not looking to get blockers out of the way. Like, again, jobs. What job is this card doing for this deck? The job of tapping stuff when an enchantment enters the battlefield is not a job our deck wants to do. The job of be a 4/4 blocking for 5 mana is a job that we want, but that job is better filled by Rumbling Sentry. You know, so this just isn't doing what we want the deck to do. This is a better card than Lionfish. but Lionfish is a 2-drop, and please note that we have our our only playable 2s right now are the Turtle and 2 Towering Wave Mystics that I would love to upgrade. So despite these in the abstract both being better cards than the Lionfish, I am in what does this deck need mode, and this is a job we need filled more than we need these jobs filled. So I like the Omen in the abstract better, and we have so many 2/1s that we don't want to play East. Like, this is a real upgrade to this. Well, because we get, I mean, we do have, like, we will pick up some Omens, we hope. If we get other Omens and instant speed, there's plenty of flash auras, and if we get some Omens later, then we're triggering this with our Omens and our counterspell if we have to play it, that kind of thing. Anyway, I would much rather have a Lionfish than a Wave Mystic, and right now I want all 3. Right now I would be so sad, but I would play all 3, and that's why I want to take it. We're mid-pack 2, and frankly, pack 2, pick 7 is not middle of the draft. It's basically 2/3 of the way through the draft, because we're not going to expect huge boons the rest of the way through this pack. So I'm taking the curve filler that our deck seems to need. Wow, did I say we were almost done with useful cards? Look at this late apathy. Wow, and this came back. AVB, you cannot use... Okay, you're being a... don't be hyperbolic. Like... I mean, Towering Wave, like, no 2-drop 2-power creature is just awful, right? It's not great, but the whole point of these is that even at their worst, the floor is serviceable, but it's below replacement, I'll give you that. But wow, are we in the right place? I was so sad to pass this pick 1 and we get it pick 9. Yes, please. I guess we take a Wayfarer, but I don't think we play this card, and we're not... I mean, maybe we take an Unknown Shores, but we're not playing that either. So I take a Wayfarer and put it in the board. Another one that doesn't really matter, nor does a second Memory Drain. I'm really going to try to not play the first, much less the second. Towering Surge is less of a surprise than the other, but suffice it to say we cut our colors well. This is something of a bot factor here that, like, I don't even know what we take here. Like, all three of these are justified. Let's go to curve view and decide what we pick up here. Not much ETB, although Flicker is enchantment. We could Flicker Kiora. You want to Flicker Kiora Best the Sea God? As if you ever get to chapter 3. But what else do we have? You could Flicker Illyrios for another reflection. That's about it, though, for us. You could Flicker on their turn to tap something down. All right, we'll take the Flicker. I'm worried about creature count, though. Here's another one of these. All right, so we're at, now, again, we got a lot of 1 toughness 2-drops, which is not ideal, but at least we have some 2-drops. I feel, I don't like our 2-drops, but I feel better that we have them. This is a pretty lousy pack. I don't think we want a 3rd Blessing. Oh, I thought we took a 2nd one. We could take a 2nd Blessing, but both Omen and Blessing are going to wheel. I think we take Gems here. Neither the Omen or the Blessing are even super important to the deck, per se. So I'm taking Gems, and we'll try and wheel that Omen. Hero of the Pride jumped out initially, but Envoy is going to be our pick here since we picked up this Staggering Insight. Envoy into Staggering Insight, attacking with a 2/3 life-linking card drawer is pretty nice. Oh yeah, it's an unplayable rare. It's just a pure collection-building gem pick. Glory Bearers is a reasonable call out, but I think this will wheel. It might not. I've seen these not wheel, but this is not a high priority for me. We don't have much 4 yet, and I want to get rid of this, but I like that we have 4s to fill, because 4s are a lot easier to find. And yeah, this is a real upgrade to our 2s. So I'm going to take this 2. And here's another one we could upgrade to, another Riptide Turtle. These probably both wheel, but I'm definitely going to take another Envoy and see if we can't get some more auras to consider tossing on them. Another Pilgrim. This is a pretty oppressive color requirement, but I think we're going to go for it. Well, if we take out the memory drain, our early requirements are a little more white than blue, although we do have a lot of blue 2s, so maybe that's a rough... maybe that's not the right pick. Yeah, we might be better off with just a Pride. Pilgrim ×3, also interesting, but jamming more up in the 3 spot seems risky. I'm going to take Daxos, despite the fact that I know it's not reliably going to come down on 2. Yeah, if we can get more white 2-drops, that would be great. And this is a good place to start. I'll start there. All right, Sentinel's Eyes or Leonin. Sentinel's Eyes is exactly the kind of thing I want to be putting on like an Envoy or whatever, something up in the air. But I like taking more, more upgrades at 2. Yeah, Eyes might wheel. It's pick 5 though. Hard to say anything is going to wheel from here. Look, we got only 2 cards from this pack are going to be in our pack when we see it again, and I think it's going to be Bronze Sword and maybe Trickster, Huntmaster, something like that, Thief. So we're not going to wheel anything here. I don't like Bronze Sword at all. I'm going to take the Leonin. Remember, our game plan is to survive to these. Eyes doesn't necessarily help us do the job of surviving to these. It can help, like if it gets on a flyer and helps defensively or whatever, but I think this helps get to these better. So I'm going to do that. Maybe we'll still end up with Eyes before we're done. Here's the Glory Bearers at a spot where I'm happy to take it. We could also take Eidolon if we think we're going to be controlly enough to make it to it, but I don't trust it. I'd rather just have a Glory Bearers on 4. Here's another Altar. Altar or Courser. If we take the Courser, maybe we can, let's say these are done for. Get rid of the Wave Mystics at least. Courser, because Altar is a real consideration given what we're trying to get to. What are we doing with Devotion? I guess it makes Daxos... Oh, I mean... Well, Nantuko, this is best of 1. Are you saying you're parring it at 5, or are you saying you want it to get to 7 wins? We'll see about these. Let's get to the... I'll take this and we'll figure out our pile here at the end. Another Revoke. Another Glory Bearers. We have 1 Revoke, so a second Revoke is probably playable. Yeah, I don't usually adjust my info bar until I get to the draft section here. Yeah, we're going to take Revoke here. I would like another Bearers, but maybe we'll wheel that other one. Hey, the Omen came back. That's what we were hoping for here, too. And the Glory Bearers came back. We'll take that. And a Stern Dismissal we can consider. Another Flicker, but another Leonin, and now we can get rid of the Stinging Lionfish completely. And I think we are where we want to be, which is heavy white, splash blue. Splashish. Thank you for that sub, 14. Appreciate that. Oh, Triumph came back. This was when I was saying we weren't going to wheel anything, and sure enough, we did not. Although we wheeled some Vault Progress. Leonin isn't necessarily aggro. Consider, let's say Leonin of the Lost Pride had Defender. We would still consider playing it in this deck. It's doing a very specific job of coming down early and threatening a high amount of power to trade off with attacking creatures so that we can make it to unbeatable rares and mythics. All right, 8 cuts. Here's where we're at. 18 creatures, 13 non-creatures. Let's get rid of Lionfish, maybe even the Turtle, and just really hone in on white early on, and consider the blue a quote splash. But when you're in a 7 and 6, you can afford a double blue, no big deal. I don't think we need to do 18 lands if we play the altar. If we don't play the altar, maybe we play 18, but I kind of like 17 plus an altar in this case to actually ramp to this stuff and to help cast it if we're missing color. Razor still wants the Turtle. We'll figure it out. What's our... What kind of... I think we don't have room for dismissal. And I don't know if we want Flicker even. Probably maybe start 1 Revoke and bring in a second. Maybe bench a Sentry till we see it being a really good play against our opponent. Yeah, I'll give up on Flicker. Flicker is fun, but I think we don't have the room for it in a deck with this power. All right, foil. Well, no, the way, what that means is right now the deck box has Trawler on it. Do you want a different card on it? You're choosing what goes here. Pilgrim gets double Apathy and Staggering Insight. And there's one other one, right? Oh, maybe we didn't get the other one. We were debating taking the Eyes, but basically it's Staggering Insight and double Apathy, right? Which seems enough. Yes, if we draw like 2 of these before we draw any of these, we're sad because the second one can't get anything at all. But I don't think that's going to happen too often. And where are we at here? I still want Blessing because we're going to want to like protect a Staggering Insighted creature. I don't, yeah, we do have the Unglued, or no, the Unhinged. I don't know about Unglued. All right, where are our numbers at? That'll help us with the final cut. Probably a non-creature, so... Although Omen jumped out at me, but it makes creatures. Still, we could cut this. What is the Omen doing for us? We're not bouncing it. We're not tutoring it. It's creating some dudes. Beard, I think it is. I was saying I like 17 plus an altar over 18 because the altar, we're trying to get to a 6 and a 7, and the altar both fixing for the intensive color requirements and getting us there a turn early is valuable enough to run it. And I was speaking yesterday about how these cards can trick people because they cost you a card, and then if you don't get, how do you get a card's worth of value back out of something like an altar? Because if you don't, it's not worth playing. But in our case, I believe setting up early Trawler, early Kiora, and reliably casting both is enough of a value add to be worth running. But I don't just like throwing these in any deck. But and usually I want fixing and ramp. And in this case, you can argue we are getting fixing because Trawler is tough to cast. So you like cutting the 2-drop flyer. It's true that it's not cheapening a ton of our auras, but that's a good point. Is this doing enough? It is pretty weak, given, but they do make these cheaper. Well, it's pretty on plan to put Staggering Insight on a flyer, but cutting one of the envoys. I think if we cut an envoy, then I would want to like put back in like the turtle though. And Glory Bearers 3/4 is for real. I mean it blocks 3/3s, right? The tokens from this do not block 3/3s. I think I like this. We'll leave one envoy in, but I think whoever called out that these are a little bit weak in the deck because they're not making much inexpensive. Over Courser. Which Courser? Y'all want this Omen in, and you want to give up these 4 toughness creatures to do so. I really don't want to trade 4 toughness when we're trying to survive 2 bombs for 1 toughness. That just seems like a downgrade. I know we get some life and eventually a scry, but I'm not pulling a 4 toughness creature for this. If you might be able to convince me that we should cut something for that, but I really don't want to give up our high toughness creatures. They are very on plan. D wants the 2 envoys. I kind of respect the observation that maybe 2 envoys isn't great. Turtle does nothing. Liar. Turtle does nothing. I know Magic players are hyperbolic, but can we try to not be? That's not helpful, Dionysus. That's just flat wrong. I know what you're saying when you say the turtle does nothing, but let's be literal. Let's not be hyperbolic. Let's say turtle doesn't do enough, if that's what you think. But to say it does nothing is to not be intellectually honest. And close to nothing is not right either. Can you all count to 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toughness. 5 toughness. Wow. Keller tried. Oh, Yankum got me. Doesn't block flyers, therefore it does nothing. I know you didn't say nothing, but nobody's saying that a 2-drop blue common is going to do everything we want out of a Magic card. Does it have a job in this deck? In the main deck? Yes. Will we consider pulling it for other cards if 05 doesn't match well against our opponent? Yes. Oh yeah, definitely going 10-7 at the very least. You could even argue 11-6 on some level, but I think 10-7 is correct. And who had the deck box? And what are we naming this? Yeah, Living the Dream seems appropriate. Well, Russian, they're doing different things. I'm not arguing that that Omen has no place in the role of stalling for time. But I felt like we were going to be better served by a single high toughness creature. I think we gain more life and hold off more attacks that way. I'm going to keep this. We're not worried that we can't cast this yet, and this is all good stuff for the early going. You want to par pull this? All right. One moment. Here, I'll give you a 4.5, but I can't. I think trying to par anything at 5 is irresponsible. No, we don't exactly want those yet, and we certainly don't want this. I stand by the keep, but not great here. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna drop the witness. Oh, sorry, wrong scene. Boot-de-boo. There we go. Well, we're going to apathy this while we can. Put a stop to that nonsense. Oh, sorry, I did the wrong poll. My bad. What a waste of a poll. I had a best of one mindset too. Well, I'm not going to rerun it. That seems weird unless you guys really want me to, but basically we can all mentally adjust what the equivalent of a 5-win best of 3 is in a 7, 7, right? And this is, I also want to adjust this. We are in free to play. All right, more land. And Oppo didn't do anything else, so that's good. Let's go with, should probably do Pilgrim before we accidentally draw something that the Pilgrim gets. I think I'm going to do Pilgrim. Liar would be fine, but actually it's so mana intensive and we're not looking to tap any of these things down particularly at this point, so I'm going to go with Pilgrim, which actually blocks the 1/1. We don't care if they have open mana to remove it, and we get to find Apathy or Insight. We don't have a flyer right now besides one that's going to win us the game anyway, so I'm just going to take Apathy, try to survive to the bombs in our hand. I think you're wrong, Normal, obviously, because I'm running them in my deck, and the reason why is for 2 Pilgrims to bite us, we need specifically to draw 2 of 3 of our auras before we draw our Pilgrims, and then we need to draw both Pilgrims. It's a really quite a long list before this is just a 1/2 for 3. Yeah, let's go altar here so we can set up for a trawler to end this. If they do something about the Apathy, it's no big deal if we get the trawler out by then. Well, but the comment was quite appropriate, which is that at some point, see, like this, now we're in that spot. We've seen all 3 of our auras, so it is as unlikely as I was saying it is. Here we are, possibly facing it. The next Heliod's Pilgrim we draw can't find us anything, which is what the user was saying, and what I was saying is the risk of what might be happening to us here is worth it, given the power of finding removal when we. It's like if our downside is that we've drawn 2 dreadful Apathies and an Insight, that's probably good for us, right? Yeah, let's Apathy this other one. Yeah, I like that. App the insight swing seems correct here. Except don't do that. Oh, it doesn't matter because we have the altar, right? So we do this. This. All we need, we're just trying to find a land now, right? Give us a land. There it is. If we get another land, do you want to start with Kiora or Dream Trawler? What do we show him? Oh, that's a good one. But we're about to drop a trawler that should make this fine. Or a sea god. Let's see. Do we want, which one do we want? Just do Kiora. You got a good saga, Oppo. We do too. That's an interesting attack. We're going to get this back eventually, but I don't want to give... I don't know how they survive. I'm just going to eat it. That's fine. And we can go with Dream Trawler and just... Joel Ho says, wait! Well, too late. I did what I did. That aura will kill it. I'm not sure you're... This... Yeah, I get it. It's okay, though. I just didn't want him to draw. Like... The idea of blocking there was to prevent them from drawing their way out. And do we even have to do this? Let's take a look. Yeah, let's kill that. I don't want the Kraken to die. Maybe we don't even need to worry about that, but that was my thought. And then we can add to the board. Well, but our, keep in mind we have this. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing loose because I feel like we've got the such an advantage here. I'm gonna play the Liar so that we can thirst away the Courser if we want to. Of course, if I lose a game where I've resolved Kiora and Dream Trawler, I have to stop streaming. So you better all hope that I don't screw this up. Yeah, let's tap here. And I'm going to decline the action because I think we're going to be pretty heavy on our mana here. And what do we want to take? Target, control target permanent opponent controls, untap it. Well, we got most of them apathied. I guess we just take the 4/4. It's their best thing we haven't kind of nullified. Could have shown, oh, this doesn't have haste. I thought this had haste. But I'm still going to attack, drop the Trawler, and suggest they find an answer. I'm impressed that, I mean, basically I've lost to the Kraken side of this card every time it's been played against me. Like, it's like, oh, Kraken plus clear the way to attack with it is lethal. You know, like, I'm impressed that Oppo is still thinking through options, staring at the results of these two cards. Yeah. Oh, cardboard's working for me. Try refreshing your game window. Like, I had to refresh my window for it to start working. Yeah, Flicker could do it. Now let's see. Do they have? We don't even really care about the tap, right? It's just tapping it. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to spend a card to do what we're doing anyway. If we do the discard, we're tapping anyway, so there was no point in discarding to make the same thing happen. The key is surviving this combat, which felt like we could do. But Flicker and Apathy onto Trawler is an out they have. Now we'll take this action. Well, they haven't. They could Flicker. They like. Although if they Flicker now, they should have. No, they don't have it, or else they messed up. Because now we can exile the Apathies in response. So if they had a Flicker plan, it's kaput now. And they went with the White Omen here, but we have Thirst for Meaning, so they're gaining 2 is not going to be enough because we can Thirst mid-combat and pump the Trawler. Oh, they're going to tap it, of course. But we at least have some plays to keep on defense here. And again, I'm going to let them tap it because us responding to that just taps us anyway. What I'll do though is, what I could have done is exile this, and I should have done. That was a punt. You want to pump me for that? Yeah, I should have exiled that Unicorn in response. Boy, I'm really trying to throw away the game with the 2 best cards in the set, but I think we're still going to pull it out. But that was a punt because that was just we win the game there if I do that right. So sorry. But let's go here. They have a couple chumps now. I mean, I could make them use that chump, but I'm more interested in staying healthy on defense. So I'm going to play Sunmane, and we keep Island and Thirst, so we have a couple of cards to pitch if we absolutely have to with a Trawler. We have 4 defenders, and still have this well in hand. But if I have to quit streaming because I lose this game, it would be a real shame. So hopefully this punt doesn't end my streaming career. Oh, forever. I have to retire, right? I can't continue on if I lose after resolving Dream Trawler and Kiora Best the Sea God in the same game. Like, I quit Magic. Like, I just stop playing. I just find another game. It'll be really sad, but you just have to face those realities in your life sometimes. Look, I'm being very careful about what I say. We just have to be honest with ourselves sometimes. Yeah, I'll try a new game. I'll start again in a new town with a new game and a new name. You won't get me this time. Yeah. I see what you're up to. But, finally, I'm not going to be a dummy. Yeah, Runeterra, I hear that's fun. Let's try it out. So we're going to draw when we attack to get to 5. We're going to draw 3 more times to get to 8, and that should be enough in and of itself, but we'll also attack with the Pegasus for good measure. And then even another Omen wouldn't solve it. Although we need the Liar. Let's see. If we go... I haven't played a land yet, so we go tap this down, still have Thirst. Well, I don't at this point. Yeah, I should have tapped in response, but it's going to stay 2 and we still have it. So we go like this. We go dink, dink. Liar on 2. All right. Good news, everyone. Even my punting couldn't stop me from winning with those 2 cards. I tried very hard, but could not lose with those 2 cards. Boy, Ryan, tighten up, man. I tried and failed, East. Tried and failed. Wow, weird opener, given our heavy white, but also given the altar, I think we can keep this, although we're 1 to the Apathy Pilgrim problem, and we have nothing to do on 2. And if we're unlikely to draw something to do on 2 as well. We have Oppo's going first, so we could conceivably get 2-drop in planes, but like most of our 2-drops are planes. So if we keep this, we're accepting that we're basically starting on 3. I think the format is slow enough to do that, but let's understand the risk we're taking on here. If Oppo happens to be aggro and happens to have a hot start, we could just get utterly run over. So, but we're going to keep. Oh yeah, that's kind of the fundamental principle of my stream. Look at how much you can punt and still win games. I called out how hard it was going to be for us to find a 2-drop, but then sometimes the deck serves it up. Thank you, Travis. We'll see you. Yes, and there are formats and decks where choosing the draw makes sense. I think you wanted to be on the draw. I mean, the classic draw format is M14. There's a lot of sealed formats that are you should draw. If you want an expert on when to draw, check out Ben Stark's stream. He is someone I could learn from on that front. Well, I'm going to offer the Leonin here. All we're trying to do is survive until our bombs come online, so basically any trade is fine. Trading for Blessing, not my favorite, but even that's fine. Like, I really just want to, I want to trade for resources and get to our good stuff. And to that end, not facing a ton of damage here, so I'm going to play the altar so we can go Witness on 4. But yeah, the rule of thumb, Ben Stark, likes to express in thinking about the when to do that is if you have a lot of cheap interaction, drawing is good because you'll be able to find your cheap interaction more reliably because you're drawing extra cards. You will survive the early turns because of your cheap interaction, and then you'll win the late game because of the card advantage of having drawn. That's the Ben philosophy of choosing to draw. I don't want to speak for Ben, but that's my understanding of Ben S's philosophy of choosing the draw, and it makes total sense to me. All right, we're getting beat up, but... And I really hate to use any of this stuff, but maybe we go... Let's start with the Pilgrim. There's another Apathy to get, and the Staggering Insight. If we Insight, we end up with a 2/3... does it give Vigilance? Just Lifelink. So 2/3 Lifelink and card draw. And they keep everything back, and then we can't attack. So that doesn't seem great. But if we get it, yeah, we can get Insight for possible later consideration. How does Insight stop them from attacking? They do have 2 flyers. It stops them from attacking with an Eidolon, but we can already block the Eidolon. I think you can still make a good case for either one because yeah, they can't triple block if they attack. That's true. This feels like the greedy play, and this feels like the grown-up play to me. But I'm really not sure what helps our win percentage the most. These are the tough spots in Magic for me where I feel like I don't have a good... I've weighed the stuff I'm thinking about. A lot depends on what they play next. But if they're... Like, if they do find a great aura for one of the flyers, I'm going to take the Apathy. It's the grown-up pick. Because they're look at what they're out... Look at what they have out here. Like, if they played Commanding Presence next turn, would you be surprised? Like, I wouldn't. And, in that case, we're going to really want these. Although I'm going to hold off for a turn. I don't want to Apathy these yet. But we're not digging, East. How is getting an Insight on this board a digging? Unless, like... Also, because even if you think, okay, it's digging right now, like, they're one ground creature away from taking the Insight a really bad play. It's not necessarily Mogus's Insight. It could be, but the trouble is when someone has a ground attack that's a free bounce, you kind of have to take it. I mean, what are we going to not take? We're just going to sit here taking this out of fear for Mogus's. I'd rather just get it out of their hand anyway. But maybe it's gross enough with 2 Eidolons that... Well, see, I'm a genius. And now we're actually going to Apathy, too. We're going to Apathy this one. And try and get in with this one. Still didn't love putting on this. I mean, we just got a card off of it, but I don't know how many more cards we're going to get. Although they're just racing. They want to race an Apathy? I don't believe this. I think we're facing a final death. If they're trying to race this without even pausing for a moment, it has to be... I don't think this Pilgrim is connecting. Let's find out. Oh, I should have played this just in case. Oh, wow. They're just... racing the card drawing Lifelinker? I'm in. And we'll save the other Apathy still. if they'd had removal, they already would have used it on the Pilgrim. So if they have anything to stop what we're doing, they just drew it. That seems unlikely. We're going to go ahead and exile. And we could apathy, but we actually have good attacks here. They have, if they have nothing to pump power, which it seems like they didn't from last turn, then both of these have good attacks. And since we have apathy and Pegasus back in hand, if for some reason they did draw something to make this go awry, I like our backup plan. So I'm just gonna push here, let them show us what they've got without using our removal yet. We're flooding out in our draws, but we're drawing a lot of extra, so it's making up for that quite nicely. That's probably worth an apathy, because now they have blocks on the Pilgrim that are good, and if we take that out of the equation, it should be a repeat of the options Oppo had last attack, which were not good. Like doing that, we'll do this on here. Oppo really holding out, trying to seemingly trying to find something to answer without having to give up their stuff. But we're going to just pile on here, try and close it out. I may, like, the card to play around could be the rare. I mean, there is a Wrath of God effect in the set, so I could, maybe I shouldn't overcommit into that. Maybe that's a 98% versus 96% type choice, and I chose the 96%, and we still got there, but didn't really, you know. There comes a point where your advantage is so crushing that you should play around weird stuff like sweepers at rare, and I think that was probably a spot. Like, looking back, probably higher win percentage to play around the sweeper in the set than to dump the board there. So I think slight suboptimal to just mindlessly dump out my hand, but they've needed very specifically that one card. But if they had it and drew it, boy, would I feel dumb. So we got there, though, 2-0 with a pretty sick double Mega Bomb deck. Yeah, they started making attacking and blocking non-decisions that seemed like they had given up. They didn't have a plan and were just waiting to die. Yeah, although how many extra cards did we draw off of the Insight there? I think the Insight ended up being a critical draw, which is funny because I didn't take it when I had the chance to take it with the Tutor. But I liked my reasoning at the time, which was that Oppo's got cards and mana. They're likely to put something on the ground that just completely stops Heliod's Pilgrim wearing a Insight, and yet it didn't. That didn't come to pass. This is a lovely opening. Dropping our planes. Got to make sure we play planes first when we have 2 planes, because we could draw Daxos. No, we could draw Daxos. We'll drop a Leonin, though. Someone was questioning earlier whether we wanted an aggro card like Leonin in this deck, and I was saying I would probably play this card if it had Defender in this deck, and this is why. We just want to threaten to trade our 3/1 2-drop for something like this from Oppo. Of course, it looks like they've got the tools to make it unblockable for now, but... Oh, Revoke Existence. That'll do, that'll do. We could also just Courser here. And I'm going to Courser. Let's just put creatures on the board. These threaten to double block Daxos pretty nicely. Even with one more piece of Devotion, we can threaten a double block. All right, so that worked out, and hooray, we found land number 4. We could now revoke and be pretty safe. I don't think the single blue bounce spell is our stuff, not their stuff, so let's revoke Daxos while the revoking is good. Leaves us underspent on our mana for the turn, but I still think it's correct to get rid of this. They get this back and can make it work with this to some extent. But like I said, this is pretty hard to make work. It's not a bad floor as a 2/3 for 3, but it's tough to actually trigger this. We can offer Leonin too. Again, we're just trying to trade if they want. Oh yeah, revoke is not an instant. Blessing. Is there anything... We can't really do anything about the blessing. Looks like it's gonna eat the Leonin. And that's just the way that goes. So what do we want to do here? Probably max our mana, or we can Thirst for Meaning looking for more land. I mean, we just do want to get to this, so we probably want to Thirst here. But I do like building out our board with creatures a little more. I'm going to go with Glory Bearers, I think. Do you like Bearers, or should we just be kind of trucked towards Kiora? I'm not sure. Yeah, Thirst Discard Bearers, also not the worst. Probably ends up with nothing else for us to do. Yeah. I like East Plan. Bearers an attack. Uh-oh. Nice toolbox deck from Oppo here. Between Siona and their Pilgrims, good auras to go fetch. Not too worried about that. We're just gonna go get removal from our deck here. All right, we have our 2 bombs again, but I'm gonna go get removal so we don't lose to this Evangel, and then we'll see about getting this stuff going. Now, if they have a Blessing, we could get blown out, and this could just get there. But we're hoping that this Apathy solves our Evangel problem. Interesting they're going there with it, given that they know we're going to Apathy it. Maybe that means they do have the answer? No? They're showing us they don't. Although we're, oh yeah. Stuck on 4 for now, but I like how this is going. Another Daxos. Nice, nice. They're offering a 3/4. We're at 17 life if we block Courser and Pilgrim. That we can block here, and it trades 1 for 1. Don't we like just trading off for this? Seems like what we want to do, right? East says just the 2/4. Yeah, we get the eyes. I like this, especially since they've shown. I mean, there's no hidden information here. There's not even any risk. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Do we finally thirst and just look for some stupid land here? Yeah, we might want to exile the Evangel while we can. I think I don't think given that they're out of card and they're just top decking as well, we're going to risk that they don't do anything to abuse this Evangel while it's still around. And I think we need to thirst and find some land. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this way because we may find land in 2-drop. So, and a 2-drop's likely to be white. We're going to decline to discard. We could discard an Apathy. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this gives us Kiora and Dream Trawler. And they are... Do we actually discard the... Yeah, I guess we just discard Liar and Pantheon. That makes sense. We could discard Apathy. Liar does a similar job to Apathy. Yeah, actually, I'm going to discard Apathy. If we need to, like, in both cases, we may not need removal again. We may not need to use Liar or Apathy before this game is out. So, and in this case, they're both good removal, and one of them allows us to keep more stuff, so... They might scoop to the Trawler here anyway. Or maybe they do a counterspell. That would be hilarious. I don't think... It doesn't seem like they're playing counters, though. Right, and generally speaking, Liar is better than Apathy at this stage in the game. I think if you're on turn 3 or whatever, you may want the Apathy because it just does it and you're done. But late game, Liar is much better than Apathy. Yeah, I wanted to get this going, but yeah, now I think you're right. We're taking some risks here with the Dawn Evangel, and if they unlock it, then the Liar is bad because we need another Apathy. But this will be the last turn we let this Evangel have even the possibility of coming back to get us. We can just untap. Yeah, I know. I mean, we can even go Kiora instead. But I don't even want to do that. I just think it's silly to take the risk here when this game is ours if we just don't lose to something dumb like a 1821 that gets unlocked from removal. So let's start with an attack, though. All right, well, I'm going to just play stuff. We're going to go... Well, let's start with this. Go boom, boom, boom. Let's do that. And we can go alter, but then we don't have a 2-drop. Let's just go with the Pegasus, add to the Air Force. Don't worry, Eduardo, you don't have to drink it. Or do you? I mean, just get it, get your own coffee. You know, all of our partners have some failings, and maybe questionable taste in coffee is your wife's, but you can love her through it, you know? And I say questionable to be jokingly snooty. I really don't care how people enjoy their coffee. As much as I encourage people to try a lighter roast, if you're a coffee drinker and have never really tried a nice high quality light or medium roast, I think it's worth exploring that flavor profile. But if you like yourself some dark burnt coffee, I say you go suck that stuff down. No, is it true that higher roast has less caffeine? Oh, yeah, it does. Yes, higher roast has less caffeine because it usually people think the inverse. Darker roast, I think it burns off more caffeine. That's what I've heard. Hey, right on, Razor. Didn't know I've sired another coffee roaster. Razor says that they've been roasting their own coffee since I convinced them to try it. Well, what are you using to roast, Razor? You doing the popcorn popper method, stovetop method, or did you jump in with both feet and get a real machine? Are we 3? Was that 3? Are we 3-0 now? And we have a redemption. We want some chill. Let's chill.
All right, everyone, chill.
Nice. Yeah, Beamer's great. And Mark's probably right. Yeah, while dark roast has less caffeine because of the chemical processes, it's not significant. Yeah, stovetop is a little rough, but stovetop is a fine place to start because it's free, right? Like if you're not sure, you can get some green coffee beans and just roast them in your in a cast iron skillet, you know. Mama wants to sail away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me, lads.
I should reach out to them about a minor sponsorship or something, but the place I get my my beans is Sweet Maria's. If you want to go and try this yourself, go to Sweet Maria's, just order some interesting looking green coffee beans, and there's plenty of instructions there on how to roast them with no equipment, just right on your stovetop. Yeah, MB Keller talking about Ethiopian restaurants and how some of them roast and cook right. It's funny, Ethiopian beans are my favorite bean. I roast almost exclusively light to medium roast Ethiopian beans. That's my jam. And it's funny though, because I think Ethiopian beans are the highest quality coffee beans in the world, but the Ethiopian method to brew them is to basically burn them. so the Ethiopia is all on the Starbucks plan. Again, people can like coffee in many different ways. Hard to argue with dark coffee as not legit. Hard to argue that dark coffee is not legit when the birthplace of coffee kind of roasts it that way. However, I like what I like, and for me that's light to medium roast Ethiopian beans. Okay, let's get back to it. Thanks for the side coffee chat, but while coffee is not everybody's jam here, running massive magic bombs I think is. Yeah, Stephen Marshall doesn't like coffee, and he doesn't like bitter things. He was talking about he's learned that, like, almost genetically, he dislikes bitter, and so he's never overcome the bitter side of coffee. Thank you, Celerity. No, we didn't wrap up from yesterday, Tim knows. We decided to start fresh. We're in a best of one with a couple of the biggest bombs in the set on our side. Again, with the lack of planes in our 10-7 split, but with Riptide Turtle, Thirst for Meaning, Staggering Insight, Pilgrim, I'm going to keep this. Daxos isn't coming out on time, but we have stuff to do, and any land in our deck turns on Thirst, which should solve a lot of these issues. Planes off the top would be a welcome sight, though. Not a planes, but generally a welcome sight to see that this is just in your hand. Really want a third land here, though. Yeah, Thirst, we can pitch Daxos. Great call. What'd you do with 100k gems, Mensch? Buy a ton of packs? Well, this beetle is whatever, unless they put out 4 power, and then it's monstrous. So we'll see if we're in whatever land or monstrous land here. Missed on our third land. Obviously, that stinks. We really don't want the 4-1. Don't play the 4-1 escape, Chimera. Please, don't do it. Don't. Okay, that's better. I just don't want 4 power on board right now while we try to dig out of this. Oh, deck. Your bombs don't matter if you can't get past 2 land. But if we draw planes off the top, I think we're still okay here. But also depends on what they do here. If they come up with a nice 4, we could be in serious trouble. But if we find a planes off the top, I think we can work some stuff out. All right, that's a problem. We got 4 power here. Don't see this played much. I don't think it's a very powerful card, but if you need it for your 4 power shenanigans, you could do worse. It's obviously putting a nice smack on us over here. All right, well, we found our third land, and let's see, if we thirst, we're at 7 cards in hand. We thirst, we go to 6. We draw 3, go 7, 8, 9. We discard Daxos, and we go to 8. And we already played our land, so we're just going to pass and thirst at the end of their turn. Just working out that math. Sometimes there's reasons to do it main phase, although they didn't have blue or anything like that, so I just generally, when I'm worried about discarding, check that stuff. This looks like it's going to be a tough one to recover from. We do have Revoke, although none of these are enchantment creatures, so that's rough. And we need to, like, kind of need to find a plains and a removal spell off of the Thirst so that we can pin down something like the Horn Beetle before it can attack through this. Typhon probably makes this unwinnable, honestly. But let's see, Pantheon into, like, can they just attack with too much? We block and chump and then trawl and hope trawl is enough. Right now we can play Pantheon into Leonin, which is what I'm going to do. As it sits, we currently don't die, but it's in dire straits here. They're one fight spell away from ending the game. And we'll shrug it off. We signed up for this darn game, and no matter how good your deck is, sometimes you're going to lose to the variants. But if you beat yourself up over that or get emotionally invested in variance losses, oh, you're just making your life worse. I do it to myself sometimes. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I recognize that getting really annoyed at losses from variance is not a healthy path. But we're going to try and trade here, and if they have, we can't beat any trick, so we're going to try and go to 1. Yeah, mono black I've seen. I've seen some mono. I think that's just somewhat of a hole in the bot situation. Well, I wonder if Trawler would have even been enough. We'd get effectively 3 points of lifelink, which probably isn't enough anyway. So, have any prayer. Let's see. If one of these were an enchantment creature, we could actually revoke Leonin and survive, but I think we are... we get Leonin and Pilgrim. Pilgrim can chump, and then we'll go try and find removal. But the trouble is, yeah, they just have attack with everything and win, so we didn't have it. Well, I've heard good things about Lock and Key, but I haven't read it yet. Y'all talking about that? I was a big comic guy in the late 90s. Late 80s. Told my story of working in a comic store in the late 80s and having a signed original art from Ben Edlund of The Tick. But, all right. All right. Well, if that happens to us, we're going to lose. Let's hope the mana gods are a little nicer the rest of the way. Oh yeah, we could have gotten some lifelink if I'd used the staggering insight. I don't think we had a chance though. It was all too much. Keeping this though. Daxos on 2, Apathy ready for 3 if we need it. Bearers on 4 with any kind of land. And actually I like drawing a 2-drop because now if we don't want to Apathy on 3, we have something else to do. Or maybe we go Leonin into Daxos. Daxos into Leonin gives us life. Leonin into Daxos gives us a higher power. Remorse, let's see what they take. I almost don't care. Like, they probably take the Apathy. That's what I expect, because it's our only removal here. But maybe they are worried. Maybe they can't beat Daxos or something and decide to take that. But no matter what they do, we have a 2-drop, which is what I like. And frankly, no matter what they do, we have something to do on 3. All right, so now we get the question of Daxos into Leonin or Leonin into Daxos. They're black and look maybe controlling. I'm going to go with the aggressive play. Yeah, I've lost my Apathy. Let's go! It's now the most important game I've ever played. Nothing really gained from playing out something before attacking, right? I don't see what either of the creatures on board does over threatening open mana. Oh, in case it dies, that's a good reason, right? I should read my card. I was thinking of Daxos as enter, not exit, but Daxos has an exit clause. We're in the same spot though. Do we want? I guess it's a little weird. You'd think you'd just want to run out Daxos, but if they're not throwing up blockers, I'm gonna keep throwing out attackers, and next turn we get Glory Bearers to make them 3/2s. So I'm just gonna keep putting the highest power out. Yeah, Devotion doesn't matter too much for us. I think Daxos is our Devotion card. And Glory Bearers is actually going to be great here. I mean, we could play Altar to ensure Witness on the next turn, or Altar into Daxos even, but if we play Glory Bearers, these attack as 3/2s into these 1/3 and 1/2. Yes, please. They can still 1-for-1 if they put Envoy and Lampad on one of these. They can 1-for-1, but I like that this gives us the ability to attack with both and let us choose at the very least. Good idea, Mark. Yeah, I haven't... usually the way I come up with memes for the set is that I play the set, and because of my brain, inexorably, some new cards cause songs to trigger in my head, but it hasn't happened much with this set. Mama called out, Can I Get a Witness? There's a Public Enemy song. Can I Get a Witness that might be good? Glory Days for Glory Bearers is good, or some kind of glory song. A lot of open mana, 2 cards, but they do have Omen to sack, and so maybe they're just out of stuff to do and looking for Omen. Are we playing Witness or Daxos? Because if we're afraid stuff might die, we should play Daxos. Although the life gain isn't even that super relevant to where we're at in this game, so rather than go like Alter Daxos ahead of combat because we might get some value out of the creature death, I'm just going to set up for Witness after whatever happens to our creatures this combat. And if we do end up trading, choosing which of these creatures to trade with, I think we'll go Envoy, given that we're going to drop a flyer. Let's reduce the chance of having our flyer be chumped, or they find an aura for it that actually somehow maybe wins combat or just makes things tough for us in the air. We want to see bottom on the scry as always, and we got it. Nice. Don't care about that at all, especially since they let us get the attack in before losing that creature. So yeah, using their premium removal on a card we got 13th or whatever is fine with us. And again, given the choice, I'm going to take out the Envoy so that the air... Clear the air. And what do we remove? Harder to get back instants in this set than enchantments and creatures, so I'll take the enchantment creature. Yeah, they just made a mistake by letting me attack. I've done that. Well, the games have been less grindy, and the lack of best of 3. I've been enjoying the best of 1 experience here, gotta say. Now let's go with, let's just dump most of our hand. Well, actually, we don't even need the altar right now. It doesn't do anything important. And even tapping 2 white causes Oppo to scoop. So there you go. And we hit 4 wins, closing in on what I love, which is 5 wins. At 5 wins, getting 650 gems back on your entry fee is outstanding. So this looks great. We got our Dream Trawler mana all ready, or at least the colored aspect of it. And we have a 2, 3, 5. Probably going to trade off Leonin for this Viper. Again, we don't really care. You know, we're not... Although it's kind of worked on occasion here, we're not trying to be aggro with Leonin. We're just trying to trade for stuff. I guess we'll trade with their Leonin. All right, interesting plays coming up. We could Pilgrim, which I'll probably do because actually we'd love to trade Pilgrim off for either one of these after we go get a cool enchantment with it. Yep, happy to trade this for Trick or Creature. Haha, we exile first. That's funny though. Bam, 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 bam! I kill you. I kill you. I really kill you. I really kill you. Ooh, hello. I was expecting to drop the Courser here, but I'd rather drop a thing that threatens to trade with the Evangel than a thing that just threatens to bounce with it. Ooh, gives it extra toughness, so we don't get to trade with it here. We only take 2, and we'll set up a fine turn next turn. Got our 5th land, even. Let's see, we could Pilgrim, but then we couldn't cast what we get from it. Don't want to draw a thing from the Pilgrim, though, and then... we cut Flicker. We have a Flicker, but we cut it. Just too much going on in this deck to find room for the Flicker. I'm going to go Pilgrim so that we don't... So, like, my choices here are really, like, we could Apathy something, but I don't think we want to Apathy any of this when we have a Courser that can bounce off the Bearers. But if we play Pilgrim, then we threaten 3, 4 power on board. We extract an aura from our deck so that we don't accidentally draw our auras and make these Pilgrims less useful. And 4 total power threatens both the Bearers and the Evangel, so it actually does, on the current board state, set up decent blocks, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to be greedy here and take the Staggering Insight because we have a Big Flyer in hand. If they don't have an answer for Big Flyer and we put Insight on the Witness, we're going to win this game. And happy to trade our current crop of creatures for basically anything, any resource they have, whether it's cards in hand, mana on board, or creatures. Like, this is an interesting attack. I don't know why they'd attack with this and not this. Like, unless we can, with what they have, we can beat 3 toughness, but not 4. I don't know if they have something, but we're gonna. I don't care about either of these creatures, so again, happy to trade these for literally any resource they want to offer us. Yeah, or maybe they thought Glory Bearers self-toughened. If they thought Glory Bearers self-toughened, it fully explains that attack. So we're definitely going to try the insight on the witness here. And then the question is whether we just go ahead and just apathy the envoy so that we get the witness through. They paused, but they do have an omen with mana up. So, yeah, I'm not gonna waste the apathy. I think East is right. If they want to, we're gonna get a card one way or another here. We're gonna get a card because they use a card out of their hand to deal with the situation. They chump with the envoy, or we connect and draw. All three of those are okay. Them having something here to actually answer the situation is our least favorite possibility. But even then, the card's out of their hand, and that's unfortunate. So do we scry or do we drop a courser? We have enough on the ground to block, so I'm gonna scry while we have a chance to. Glory Bearers of our own. It's not one of our mega bombs, but it's solid on this board, so I'm gonna keep it. It's a tough spot of scry choices when you find reasonable action but have absurd bombs in your deck. Are you just supposed to dig for those bombs, or do you take the reasonable action when you have it? And I'm going to take reasonable action here. We don't know where those bombs are. East wants to dig more. Given that Glory Bearers is quite solid on this board, I'm just gonna take the reasonable action. But East wants to dig more. I'm not sure what's right, to be honest. I really don't know. All right, well, I had the Glory Bearers play queued up, but I think we just want to apathy the 4. I guess we can do both. We don't care that their stuff gets trampled. We just don't want this 5/3 attacking us. So we'll apathy the 5/3 and Glory Bearers, and then this attacks as a 2/4, but that bounces. This attacks as a 1/3, and it bounces or dies. Yeah, so we're just stay back on D here, looking for our good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, we're in the higher end of the rankings now, and our record is 4-1. So, not surprising that we're staring down some bombs of our own that we have to deal with. Yeah, it's tough to beat that, but if we find our bombs in the next couple of turns, maybe we have a chance. I'm not going to bother exiling the Forerunner yet. They're kind of top decking in terms of punishing us for leaving this. So I'm just gonna go wide. No, we do have an enchantment exile. It's true. The revoke existence is in the deck somewhere and would actually handle this god. Liar, liar, deck on fire. Nothing. I'm gonna hold this. We have Sea God's Revenge, or Kiora bests the Sea God in the deck, so we're gonna stop at 7, and then we'll hold lands for potential trawler fodder if we happen to draw our trawler, which would be nice. If we send in here, what attacks do we have? Definitely the Leonin, but everything else except the Bearers just bounces off the Evangel. Yeah, we'll exile the Forerunner. There's just no need to do it at this particular moment, like this decision point. I'm going to send just the Leonin. Keep Bearers back on D. And also, I don't want to trade it for the Viper. I don't know if there's cast triggers to worry about on this front, but just in case there are, let's go ahead and exile it now. We still have plenty of mana threatened, so Yeah, we never had the flicker in. No flickers. But flicker would be good. Like we could flicker Pilgrim in this deck. That would be nice. Kind of just looking for our out to this Heliod and or one of our big bombs at this point. Obviously, land, not at all what we're looking for. Are we just crashing in now? We're at 10. The crackback looks like 4, 5, 6, 7 if they just take it all. Let's see what they do with the Liar anyway. They have Liar activation now. Deciding what we want to trade here. Now we're in attack with everything, sir. Maybe I was a little conservative with my attacking last turn, but I didn't want a big crackback on the ground either. I don't know. Yeah, we are mostly dead here.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Yeah, Liar is actually a great answer to Trawler, but we could still get Sea God. And it would at least hold their Liar, keep their Liar busy. I mean, what we really need is now an answer for an Envoy. But I believe we're at swing out and hope it works out. Yeah, I think we're too far behind now. Caught the wrong end of our deck. And they had a great play to make the Staggering Insight not do anything. Any reason to play a land? If we... I'm going to play one land because if we happen to draw like Thirst, we may need the extra land to play what we find with the Thirst. Assuming we're not dead on the spot here. Yeah, revoke. But now that might even be too late because this is big enough now. Like, now if we revoke, we actually have to just revoke the Envoy. So we're to our last draw here. Looks like we're gonna lose. Okay, wow. That's a start. We're not dead. Sorry, I just got a text I was checking, and now I got to reconnect with where I'm at in this game. So we just got lucky and stopped from dying, and they're going to do Liar tricks to keep a couple of things locked down. I'm going to leave it all back right now. Getting them from 23 with these creatures is not even really the plan. We're just looking to not die and try to find our revoke for the Heliod, and then one of our bombs to actually turn this around. That's a nice call out, Media. Minor edges are the things that the pros use to be the best in the world as opposed to just very, very, very good. I don't think, let's see. Maybe you put gain life, but a +1/+1 counter you control it. I'm going to take this. I don't think they can... Maybe they have a blessing or something, but I think we're just going to 2. and I want to, if we chump, we can chump for more by waiting here like so, and we found a blessing that might actually allow us to win combat even, so let's see what we can do. Yeah, it looks like we will be able to, because they tap down our biggest thing, and we have a 1 and a 2, but then this adds 2 more. We get 5 power to trade for an evangel. Man, if we just remove all of their creatures, that would be hilarious if basically Heliod had nothing to do because of that. Although, hold your breath, we're looking for the bottom here, but I'm not expecting it. They kind of have the advantage in some ways, so expecting some kind of top here. Oh, all right, bottom, that's so good for us. Woo! Please, nothing, don't add to the board, and send in that evangel to its doom, please. Liar the Leonin, and bring it. It's gonna work. I feel it. Like, because we're in the Matrix, right? And I think the programming is on my side right now. And we're not only going to get this Dawn Evangel dead, we're going to draw the Revoke, exile the Heliod, and win this game. Here we go. Come on, Matrix programmers. Not the Revoke, but kind of going the way we want. I don't see, there's not much haste or any haste in Bant, so I'm going to keep crashing in. Do I play a Plains or hold? I'm not sure. Given we have card draw and things that need cards out of hand for hexproof. Yeah, I guess we keep Thirst so we can discard both of those lands. Fair enough. Okay, we'll keep them both. Alright, Typhon's a nice find for them. Envoy doesn't do much for us, but we'll run it out. It does discard to Thirst, but we have the 2 lands for that if we want to. And as a 4/4, we can pile on basically everything and still have 4 power. So they need more than just the Typhon to successfully, eat, right now we can trade is what I'm saying. They have a pretty full yard though, so it will come back as a 7/7. I'm expecting them to offer some sort of trade here and then just bring this back as a 7/7. Then we kind of have to start chumping and look for our big bombs. But I'm not messing around here. We're throwing literally everything we got on it and hoping it ends up dead and it can take whatever it wants with it. I mean, we could like not use the Envoy if we wanted to, not just give up both of these. Maybe we risk this. I think this is fine. And they didn't tap anything. Like, we could also just literally do this. Trade for one of these, but even we can do this and it's still a 1-for-1. Okay, I'm doing this. I think they might have something. We can't beat much though, so I'm not playing around much. This is what we were expecting, and now they just make a 7/7. We start chumping. Thankfully, it's not a 7/7 trample. And then we got the bombs to get out of this. Just need to find them in our 19 card deck. That ain't no bomb. We're just going to be chumping, and I'm not going to chump with the Envoy. I guess if we attack with the Envoy, we're setting ourselves up to lose to removal if they go tap one of these and remove the other. I guess I won't even bother. There's no sense. Like, we're winning because we find one of our bombs, not because we get in for one with an Envoy with them at 29. Make it interesting, deck. Come on. Come on. I thought we were going to lose this one already. I'm happy we're still in it. It's been a fun game. Oh, there it is. Hope they don't counter it. Let's see. There is a convoke-like counterspell, but we don't have the mana to stop it anyway, so let's just drop it. I don't know. They could counter this. All right, it made it. It made it to the battlefield. It's got hexproof.
All right, everyone, chill.
I guess now I will attack with this. And maybe even this. Like, we're all in on this. Although if they make it bigger, I might want to chump. I'm going to just send the Envoy. If they somehow do something to make this bigger, I'm going to want to go 8/8 plus 2/3. So I'm, again, being conservative here. Boy, it's rough. Oppo, we keep finding stuff and then Oppo keeps saying, nah, you're not going to win this. You just think so. Trading helps in it, in that it costs them. I mean, we're not going to not trade, Brian, is the point. I mean, it might not help us effectively, but yeah, they got us. Unfortunately, we found our Sea God. They had something to stop the other chapters of it, and we just took too many lands this game. But it's not even that, like, we quote flooded. Like, we got a lot of land. We only have 16 cards left in our library. This is actually pretty representative sample of the type of land you're going to end up with when you dig that deep. So it goes. Moving on and looking for further wins despite... That's kind of like the first loss we've had that was just a straight up Oppo that outdid us. You know, the other loss we had was just plain screw. Really want that 5th win. I don't know what I didn't par poll this correctly because I put it as a best of 1. But if I had to par poll this deck, I would have put it at 5. Like, a deck this powerful would disappoint me if I didn't get at least 5 wins in best of 1 with it, and we're right on that cusp now. So we are at my par poll here. Yeah, they beat Kiora beating the Sea God. Thank you all for hanging out today. Happy Friday. Hope you have great weekend plans. Maybe you're playing some F&M tonight or something. If you're lurking and have never followed, you could give me a follow. If you are someone who's watching and has never visited my sponsor, Card Kingdom, via my affiliate link, you could do that. That's a nice thing to do for this stream. Lets Card Kingdom know some people are paying attention. We're gonna keep this. We only have a bunch. We have a bunch of 3s, but they're solid, and we can play them all. And I'm not throwing this back. Nice, Tsunami. First year in real life draft. How long have you been playing digitally? Kind of a bummer, but that's all right. And we found something to play here. Oh, first Theros. Wow, another Oppo with the Liar, which is one of the, quote, common, not literally common, one of the not rare options for answering a trawler in the format. So now our trawler is only somewhat good in the matchup. I'm going to go with Courser. I'd go with Pilgrim and like find the card draw aura, but we don't have a good target really for it. And next turn we can't do both, right? Yeah, we could alter and then Pilgrim and play the card drawer if it's correct to do. But lifelink 4/2 card draw on the ground, that seems like a bad place to put that. I am not going to take that course of action. We're going to take this courser of action. Let's just attack with Blessing up and then drop Pilgrim and keep Blessing up. Well, the last format that was a 3-set. What was the last 3-set block? Somebody figure that out. I'm going to focus on this game. I could have Blessinged and like stopped the Liar for a turn. I don't know if that was worth it. We can do that trick some other time. Although we did have one free here. You know, we are going to play this, I think. And but if we go 1, 2, 3, we have 2. Yeah, we'll just do this. No, Ixalan was 2. They went to 2 sets for quite a while. Must have been Fate Reforged, like Tarkir. And it was a weird one because it was kind of like 2 2s instead of a 3. Cons if you're gonna be technical, but it might be Theros in terms of, no, this is like classic old school style. Yeah, I actually think I give it to Theros because you never drafted all 3 sets of cons. So Theros is the last time you drafted all 3 sets. Anyway, sorry, Oppo. Got into a side conversation. So here's where, are we aggro or are we defense? I think we are defense here. I'm not going to take the Staggering Insight. We're going to get more removal. Oh yeah, 3x of 1 set is the way to draft for sure. All right, well, there's another Pilgrim we could take, but I like, let's start here, and then we have 3 mana up, and we can think about, I think I'll just send the Courser. I think they'll block either way. If we send both, then we telegraph the trick. That little ping was Jay Schneider, letting me know he's ready to play when we are ready for him. Maybe we just do the other Pilgrim now after. I'm going to send in just the Courser so that if they do block, we can just let them bounce off. One thing I like doing about this type of play is that we have the Blessing. We could actually win this combat, but I don't want to yet. And one of the things a subtle thing this does is kind of suggest to Oppo that we don't have a trick. Relax, D. I'm in the middle of a game. We will get... We're not even at constructed yet. Settle down, buddy. Settle down. This one's for D.
All right, everyone, chill.
I liked Zendikar Limited a lot. I think it was a nice change of pace. I swear this is best of one, and yet we are facing Liar into Heliod again. Holy moly. Well, now I like going for it. We should Insight and Apathy, or Insight and have Blessing ready. I like it all. Actually, we have Insight, Apathy, and Blessing ready. Let's do it all. And we're going to put this on the courser, though. I like this on a nice big butt. Thirst is nice. Maybe help us find our bombs. And if they're, hopefully they're choked on mana enough that we can get them before they get us. Wowie! Cereal? That's harsh. Well, hopefully we get them with the Blessing. We're going to try and see if my setup that, hey, we don't have anything, you can totally... Like, I expect that what they would do here is try to bounce off the courser, and we're going to try and punish them for that and send everything. If they block a Pilgrim here, they get to eat a Pilgrim, but we're going to offer a Pilgrim because any of the other two blocks give us a trade or eat with the Blessing. So yeah, we're 2 for running ourselves, but obviously to get the Archon out of here, it's worth it. See ya, Jikerman. Thanks for hanging while you could. Get that out of here. Let's see, we've got... I'm going to go Leonin and hold up Riptide Turtle and Thirst for Meaning. But really we want to Thirst, probably ditching Glory Bearers to find our real action. Nice, Tiny. We got him. We got Tiny. That's cool. It's going to give him a life gain burst that turns the Gray Merchant into a 3/5. 3/5 is pretty tough for us to deal with, but hopefully we'll find something on our Thirst to help with that. Unfortunately, our other Apathy is gone. Hey, we found it. We can get rid of this god. We're going to drop one of these Glory Bearers to do so. Found our blue, so now we can find the Trawler too. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We get to go... We could revoke... Yeah, no, we're doing this. We're going to revoke Heliod and be wildly happy about it. And let's see, if we Glory Bearers, what happens? We don't get any more attacks through. Our Courser sends in and bounces with Gary, but we gain some life. And with 5 mana, we can do Enraptured and Riptide Turtle. Yeah, 3/6, 3/5 doesn't make a difference. We're just going to send in the Courser. Well, if we attack with all, yeah, maybe I'm being too conservative. Let's see. Let's look at the attack with all. We attack with all. They Gary eats the Leonin, and we get in for 3, 4, 5, and draw a card. Maybe that is worth it. Yeah, I like Funky's line. We can give up this Leonin for damage here. It's close. And if they block the Courser, that's great. So that's like the reason to do this is either we lose the Leonin but draw off here, or they bounce here and we get through with the Leonin. So I think Funky is correct. It is correct to swing away here. And I'll play a Enraptured. And then we have a Riptide Turtle if we want. We might not even play this. We might save Turtle and land for possible Trawler fodder. Well, I mean, you have a mouse, right? Well, maybe you're on mobile. I just right-click and hit refresh, and that tends to work. But yeah, they might be on mobile. Some people are watching without F keys and mouses and all that stuff. I think Mensch has mentioned they're a mobile viewer. All right, so are we playing this turtle or not? I don't see what playing the turtle out here does for us, so I'm going to keep it in hand. Witness is nice. Where are we at on attacking with all? They've got 2 blockers now. Again, they can eat this, but it gives us a reflection token. Maybe they chump here. They got 3 cards and mana open. They're probably going to go for the Liar on our Courser. We can't really increase its tough power, so they just are going to get to lock down the Courser. We'll let them do that, and then we'll drop the Witness. Mogus can't self-sacrifice, right? Oh, no, he can't self-sacrifice. Interesting. Okay. Well, they've used all that. Maybe we'll spend some time this turn exiling the Mogus. No attacks, though, into the Gray Merchant now. And 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could drop this for 8 and indeed Witness with Exile. I'm going to do that. I think it's worth it. Maybe not, but the only cost for me was just like playing the land. So right, that it was just the only cost for making that play was playing out a land, so I did it. Annoying. We were there. We were so there. Although we do have bearers to make this a 3/5 attacker if we want. They have 3 blockers, only 1 for the air, but it's a bounce in the air if we play this, but it doesn't get us anywhere. So super sad, but actually I think I play out the land because it gives us 2 scries before we untap. Yeah, I think we're just in dig time. And so we're going to play out a land. So, oh, I didn't need to. I forgot about the altar because I was looking at 8 over here. But we're going to stay back and start digging with Witness, looking for one of our 2 major players. Even if we find Trawler and they just use the Liar on it, well, at least we lock down their Liar, right? No, I don't need to stop on the end step. It will give me the chance. Boy, if you needed to put a stop on the end step to do things like Witness, the community would be enraged. Okay, a liar of our own is a worthy draw for sure. Because we're going to lock this Archon down. I don't think there's anything they can do here really to make it bigger. So, yeah, we could tap for 6. I guess if we're not going to play the turtle, there's no reason to not play around the blessing. And I don't feel the need to play the turtle. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Yeah, it just kind of feels like you're stringing the game along, Mensch. Well, that's a draw. But I guess we start the games here, take the action. Okay, or we can do that, make them start using a liar there. 4, we have 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost enough to tap and play the trawler. If we lock down the life linker, I think we do need to do that. I'm going to take a turn before the trawler to lock down the life linker. Again, the trawler just ends up fully occupying the liar anyway. Yeah, all trawler does really is force Oppo to use their liar. If you just keep going back and forth on these flyers, especially with the lifelinker tapped, then we're pretty good. Like, they untap here, we tap it back down, and they're top decking to not lose to this, and now that ends up... They're going to have to let us untap our courser so they can tap the witness, is what I think is going to happen now. And we could play Glory Bearers. We can also just scry. We can hexproof it in response, but what does that do? Are we really just going to sit there throwing away a card per turn until we're out of cards, and then it's done? Eventually you just run out of cards is the thing. Unless you're successfully attacking with something like Staggering Insight. But I'll go ahead and... I was thinking about bearers, but we don't even need the bearers. I'm going to just... I'm going to scry as opposed to... Because I want this fodder for trawler more than even another body on board. And let's see. I'm going to decline the action because I think they're going to tap us down such that we don't have an attack anyway. So we may as well decline the action and get our trawler going. This is best of 1, so this is always game 1. We just happen to be facing the exact deck nearly that we faced last game. No, this is best of 1. Best of 1. So... yeah, let's just go to attacks. Make him do this part. But we don't have really an attack with the courser, which was what I was looking at before moving to attacks. And let's see, I'm going to play the land again. It gives us a scry, and we have a couple of pieces of fodder for the trawler. Wow. Well, that's okay, actually. I don't think they can even really attack with it here. We don't care if they get a blocker on the ground. We're at 22 life. We still just end up in liar games. Well, not necessarily, because they have this liar, but I think it should work. Wow, they're doing this. You don't have lifelink there, right? So that's fine with us. Oh, they're just going for it. I think they see the writing on the wall and are just trying to attack. What is this attack? Oh, lifelink, of course. They're trying to get out of range, but yeah, so this gives them a turn. They tap this down and Witness gets in for 3. They go to 1. So I like what Oppo's doing here. It does mean this is pretty surely just a suicide Eidolon. And to that end, I'm going to offer this for it. We could eat it with the Courser and gain some life, but I don't want to lose the Courser. I guess it's safe. Worth 3 life, I guess. How do I stop the liar, Mensch? Yeah, we don't need the life, right? Let's just do this. Yeah. Oh, Mensch, are you just making the same mistake everybody else is making? We do not... The liar beats the trawler. The liar nullifies the trawler. You can spend cards to make them spend mana, but other than that, it depends on whether you wanted to just let it happen, or whether you want to start spending cards every turn to make them spend mana every turn. But taps. No worries. If you're looking for the card reading channel, you're in the wrong place. No, we don't alpha. Well, maybe we alpha and win. Let's take a look. Certainly we're going to take this action. I haven't done the alpha math yet, but maybe D's has. And yeah, so we could pitch the turtle to make them spend mana. And it actually probably is worth, you know, I am going to use a turtle to make them have to respend mana. But that's the purpose of what I'm doing here. I'm not fooling myself. It is merely, all right, now you have to respend all that mana. All right, so now they've got 3 blockers. We've got a tap. They've got no lifelink, right? And so we get 3 in through the air and then enough on the ground. Yeah, so we got this. And they're tapped out, so we don't even need to overpay for tapping Gary. And swing out. Whew. Wow, lost to Heliod once, but managed to beat Heliod the next game. And all right, made it to my happy place in best of 1, which is 5 wins. Love making it to 5 wins. It's not exactly profit. We can't run like the profit meme, but when you get 650 gems back out of a best of 1, it's great. And in this case, we paid gold anyway, so it's all gravy. I don't know how many packs gems are worth. Well, Alucardio, the variance of magic has some things to say about that, but you certainly give yourself the best chance to make 7 with those types of cards. Yes, it's my favorite bubbly, an apple bubbly. Nice. Keep this. Play out the Leonin here and trade it off if they want. They'll probably do it on defense, but we're happy to trade off for that dude. I mean, it's going to get something. Might as well get a 2-drop. Oh, I know you are, Alucardio. We all know that no wins are guaranteed in Magic. You have to draw a mix of land and spells to begin with, and if you can't pull that off, nothing in your deck matters. Yeah, whatever. For now, I'm just going to tap this down. Get a Witness out. Move towards 7 mana and the Sea God. I'm going to decline, though, because we're definitely playing Witness this turn. Fluffy, isn't it the combo everybody wants to draft, really? The combo I'm hoping to draft before the end of the format is the best card and the second best card. I don't know if that's exactly true, but, you know, they're up there. These cards are up there as top hopefuls in the set. I just got to take that. Now, we're actually pretty close to Kiora on our own. But this is still, like, the best creature to tap down, so I don't know what we'd untap this and re-tap. Like, we're 4 power is already the most threatening thing on board. So we're going to decline this and see if we can find some action. Hey, we got double action, and going to play the land, play the Narcissist. And currently it trades for both of their threats. I'm going to go ahead and swing in. We're a little bit behind on life, but this gets it closer. And I love throwing this in the way of anything. And we're going to Thirst the end of their turn and basically do whatever we can to find a 7th land for the Sea God Saga. We had a fun draft with this rare early in the format. Worked out well. We got max wins with it. Yeah, this does threaten blocks, but this threatens blocks. I want to trade this off anyway, right? So I was just trying to find a way to get some damage in. I mean, it's amazing. Like, you want to give us this? I could not be happier. I'm a little surprised they're not sending in the Trickster. Maybe they have something to play on our turn to get the Trickster up and they don't want to offer that trade. But I couldn't be happier with this trade if they're legit offering it. But I'm also happy with the trade for a trick, too. Yeah, a giant growth would be fine. If they want to play and use giant growth in that spot, thumbs up. What should we do? I'm going to decline to discard the enchantment. I got to do this very carefully. Decline. Let me do this. Whew, that was close. We decline this too. A little sad, but plowed through a bunch of our lands, no problem. Ah, nice. That's what they were up to. Good play from Oppo. Hopefully it's not going to be enough with our monstrous saga. No pun intended. Sea monsters, etc. Let's see. Anything else we want to... Yeah, I'm going to do this because now we can tap the Viper and start getting in with the... Or wait, we tap everything. Never mind. I forgot what our own saga does. Pretty strong, this saga, you know. Jeez. So absurd. Again, I barely play it past the first chapter because it's usually enough. And now if they play anything, we tap it down with Liar and then win, right? Stupid card. Tap it, take it. How do you want to win, folks? Maybe they come up with 2 plays and we have to do both. That's a great question. Would you play an 8/8 hexproof for 7 mana? Nah, that's a little rough, but everything else going on makes it awesome, you know. But often I just lose to the 8/8 hexproof. Well, it's 7 mana. The thought process, the design thought process around making something this broken is that it gets your players to go, "Oh my God, have you seen Kiora Best the Sea God? Oh my God!" Like, that's great. Like, you want that from people. Yeah, I mean, that they get our 2/3, but it doesn't really do anything unless they gain some life. Bombs are fun. People like big bombs. They're a key part of Magic. They help crappy players like me beat awesome players like Curbs, you know? I like big bombs and I cannot lie. Let's gain control of this dude. Take a land for bad manners, sure. Take anything we want. I'll take the win. All right, now we have ourselves some profit. Well, if you think the average win rate of this deck is going to be 7 wins, that's pretty tough. That's a 100% 7-win rate. Although not 100%. There's some percentage at which you would round up to an average of 7. All right, nothing early, but we're going to keep this and hope we find some. Now, if we find one of our 2-drops and we get to insight it with Blessing up, that might end the game before we get to any of this stuff. I don't know why you all are so surprised that we have Trawler and Best the Sea God. I deserve it. I'm a good person. All right, not something on 2, but we do have a 3. That's nice. We are up against some aggro action that could get us, though. Let's see what happens here. Very aggro start from Oppo, which is exactly what we did not want to see, failing to find that 2-drop. Good news is we get a removal spell here. Probably going to have to use this next turn unless we find something awfully nice. And I'm going to take this trade. I'd love to put an insight on it or whatever, but we're going to put this on this witness if we can. And they may have a trick here or whatever, but we're happy to trade. No, I deserve... Mensch, I deserve magic success because I have things like Streamlabs adjusting my audio settings without me asking. That's why I deserve good things. So, what's the thing we need to get rid of here the most? What should we apathy? This pumps, this sacks into damage. I think we take the Oracle because it can technically pump into something that could trade with the Witness. Although, I guess the Celebrant blocks and kills the Witness, but we'll have Blessing to survive all that anyway. Apathy on this. Another reason I did this is at least making this Oracle really threatening requires mana from Oppo. So they can't leverage the power of the Oracle without spending mana. All right, we drop this, then we drop Trawler, and we hope the Trawler is as unbeatable as advertised. If they come up with another big flyer, then that's the type of thing that the Trawler can fail against, is just actually being blocked by flyers. I'm not sure what they're up to here, except they obviously have the double pump here, and that's probably all, because this suggests that the lack of attack from the hero suggests that this is just going to be a bounce, and this is just a threat to double pump. And we're gonna almost want to just do this and let him double pump. Yeah, we could do, you want to do that? Like, go ahead, trade your turn. We're gonna drop a Trawler. Then what do you do? It's still a trade. Uses up their whole turn. We have Insight to put on the trawler, and Enraptured and Blessing. Oh, we have all sorts of protection now. Oppo not conceding yet. Gotta play this somewhat carefully. They may have us in a spot where we can't block, but we also have to worry about, is there a risk of death here? Well, everybody's had Liar against us so far, so we're gonna see if they find it. There you go. That's a not bad play, but at least it taps them out, so we know exactly where we stand here. I'm gonna go ahead and play this out. This one land out. We're gonna drop the Insight. I think the bots are undervaluing Liar. It goes late and is extremely strong. I think that's a good call, Colin. If we're talking about what bots aren't doing right, I think failing on Liar is a good point. I think the idea of it is that it's a little clunky, like that you might not want it against a deck like this or whatever. That's why, you know, hey, we did it! All right. Who called it? Mama, you were right. I don't know if it's a 7-win average, but boy, I'm sure glad we max 1 with this deck. It's an absurd deck. Mostly well played. Sometimes it was obvious and easy. Other times I punted early and we still won because the cards are so powerful. But this is the kind of deck you really hope to max win with, because it's going to be among the better decks I have in the format, honestly. That was just great. So we'll claim this. Ooh, we get to claim these rewards, open some boosters. Ooh, we got to exactly 10. I thought we had more left, but perfect. Get a nice 10. 1 mythic wild card. No actual mythic cards, but we'll take the mythic wild card. And this is fun. We're building up our collection here. Yeah, it was fun. All right, I'm going to go to soapbox mode. Thank you so much for hanging out, YouTube viewers. That was great. We got super lucky with our draft, but we made it pay. Sometimes the magic gods give you some good tools to work with, and you hope that when you do, you manage to optimize it, and we certainly did with 7 wins. So that was sweet. Building up towards 30K here. Let's get to 30K before we're out of gems. How about that? Or out of gold, sorry. And we have 4 drafts to do before that happens anyway. So yeah, looks good. Thanks, YouTubers. We'll catch you later.